But here's Stephen Bannon in an excerpt coming up on 60 Minutes this weekend where he explains who the real enemy is. The Democrats are literally a bunch of senile criminals. Nancy Pelosi, the rest of them, who are dangerous. But it's the Republican leadership that are slick, Ted Bundy type psychopaths who are really screwing everybody over. And Trump is a true centrist, a populist. He is going after them. He's a populist, Americanist. And Bannon gets into the fact that Mitch McConnell won't even meet with Trump. Mitch McConnell says, stop saying drain the swamp. This is in meetings dictating to the president because they want to keep the swamp there. They want to keep two parties in power. They with the one-party monopoly of the banks. They're there to stop the American Revolution. So they're trying to block Trump, both political parties, Hollywood, the power structure, everybody. Which, again, to all the stupid mainline liberals, the mainline Republican establishment hates Trump, dummies. The big foreign banks hate him. The Saudi Arabians, the globalists, the communist Chinese, all the real killers hate this because this is a real revolution. It's not perfect, but it's real. And that's why it's got the whole stinking power structure that owns the suicide factories in China up on their hind legs. But again, you've been caught in a hype train. Here is Stephen Bannon. Mitch McConnell just demanded no more drain the swamp. This is on Infowars.com and Newswars.com. Here it is.
The Republican establishment is trying to nullify the 2016 election. That's a brutal fact we have to face.
The Republican establishment.
The Republican establishment
wants to nullify the 2016 election.
Trying to nullify the 2016 election.
All right.
Absolutely.
Who?
I think Mitch McConnell, and to a degree, Paul Ryan. They do not want Donald Trump's populist, economic, nationalist agenda to be implemented. It's very obvious. It's obvious as night follows day.
Give me a story that illustrates that.
Well, Mitch McConnell, when we first met him, I mean, he said, I think in one of the first meetings in Trump Tower with the president, as we're wrapping up, he basically says, I don't want to hear any more of this drain the swamp talk. Flat out. He goes, a guy up on Capitol Hill can't buy a Coke unless it's got to be reported. He says, I can't hire any smart people because everybody's all over them for reporting requirements and the pay, et cetera, and the scrutiny. You know, you got to back off that. The drain the swamp thing was Mitch McConnell was day one. Did not want to go there, wanted us to back off.
You are attacking on many fronts people who you need to help you to get things done.
They're not going to help you unless they're put on notice. They're going to be held accountable if they do not support the President of the United States. Right now, there's no accountability. They do not support the President's program. It's an open secret on Capitol Hill. Everybody in the city knows it.
And so, therefore, now that you're out of the White House, you go into war with them.
Absolutely.
Hello, everybody. I'd kind of like to just do some pondering right now and run a few things through that I've been running through my head. I did a video earlier about the Democrats, and the title is something along the lines of, why is the left sacrificing itself? It hasn't made any sense to me that if, as I thought before, and I thought that the Democrats were the globalist tools. I thought that they were the chosen ones that the globalists were going to use to destroy this country. I might have been wrong about that. Now, that's not to say that the DNC and the Democrats, the left, and their mainstream media accomplices aren't a bunch of petty criminals, pedophiles, and thugs. They are. And I think that they've been fighting because they knew that once Trump got into office, like Hillary said, if he's elected, we'll all hang by nooses. We'll all hang by nooses, she said. And I think her job was to keep them all stirred up and terrified of Trump. Okay, and it's worked. They've Elizabeth Warren, Nancy Pelosi, John McCain. I'm adding him in there because in my mind he might as well be a Democrat. Mad Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Rahm Emanuel, Xavier Becerra, Keith Ellis and Al Franken, Kamala Harris, Tim Kaine, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, all of them have been in the spotlight, running their mouths against Trump and everything he does. There's a few others too, but those are just the ones that come off the top of my head. They have been sucking up all the attention. Not of just this country, but the entire world, it seems. So I couldn't suss out why, if the Democrats were actually the ones that were supposed to be used with Antifa and Black Lives Matter and the feminist pussy hat movement and all this garbage, if they were the ones that were supposed to corrupt and destroy this country, why would their masters be allowing them to implode? They wouldn't. They'd be trying to save them. They'd be telling them to shut the hell up, straighten up, before they ruin everything. And then after watching the Steve Bannon interview with Charlie Rose, then I started thinking, the Republicans, the ones with the R's in front of their names, I think that all the aforementioned and the Southern Poverty Law Center, blah, 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 I think they're all a big distraction. I think the shadowy hand that rocks the cradle has an R in front of their names. Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell, notice they've been very absent. Those cockroaches have stayed out of the light. And several of them that usually were out and about, they're pretty much hiding on all of this, letting the left and their cronies draw all the attention. I'm just thinking that Trump must know this. Because if I could figure it out, I'm sure he can. Which would mean that would be why he stepped across the aisle and made this recent deals with the Democrats. Maybe they're petty criminals, pedophiles, and thugs, but they've got a different battle. They're not trying to destroy the country. They're just trying to protect their coffers. They're trying to protect their bank accounts. They're trying to protect their power. They're trying to protect their local luxuries. Even if it means screwing up the country while they're doing it, their interest is still self-interest. I think that we better figure it out, and we better go through the RNC with a fine-tooth comb, and we better figure out who those Republicans are that are set to destroy this country. Nothing else makes sense. If the Democratic Party implodes, destroys, loses all credibility, and the Republicans get a sweep through House, Senate, and the White House and local administrations, governorships, all that stuff, who knows how many of them are actually globalists? We might be playing right into their hands by putting a bunch of Republicans in the next elections. So I think, in my opinion, we'd better be very, very careful about who we put in office. We better get behind Paul Nellon, Robert Ritchie, a.k.a. Kid Rock, the other names that are popping up that don't come off the top of my head. There's Omar Navarro. I think we better get behind some of these guys and make sure that they get into office rather than more establishment cronies, because we might be being played here. And I don't know about you guys, but I got pissed off enough as it is. I ain't getting played this time. So leave your comments in the comment section below. I'd really like to know what you think and what you know. Let's compare some notes. Y'all have a wonderful day.